Have you all been enjoying PDC so far? Good stuff, right? And what did you think of that keynote today where we announced Silverlight 4? It's good stuff. And of course, you can't beat the weather down here in Southern California, especially coming from up in Washington. I'm a native of down here, so it's nice to be home. So my name is David Paul. I'm a program manager on the Silverlight team. And today we're going to be talking about building line of business applications using Silverlight 4. In particular, we're going to be talking about applications that focus on data. So these are applications that have a lot of forms over data. You've got text boxes bound to your data model and combo boxes bound to your data model. And you're working with usually large sets of data. In particular, we'll look at 3 different areas that Silverlight has made some advancements on when working with data. There's interactivity, which refers to, or I'm referring to, how you get around your data. So if you've got a large set of data, how do I drill down into the particular piece of data that I want my user to see? You'll often see like master details, visualizations of data that all get you around, that are all about getting you around your data. Then there's data entry. So how does your user interact with the data, create and edit items in your databases? But also, what kind of feedback do you give to your users so that they don't make mistakes while they're doing data entry? And then, of course, presentation. So you can't really have a Silverlight demo without talking a little bit about rich user interfaces. In addition, we've got visualizations. So this is things like your charting controls, even things like data grid, text box, and combo box. Those are all visualizations of data, and they shape the expectations that your users have when they're working with your data. Now, we knew that in order to make Silverlight really viable for building business applications, there were a number of features that we needed to add. And just in the last couple of releases of Silverlight, we have added a huge number of features that are related to business applications. Just to name a couple of them, there's navigation and deep linking, data grid, data form, our charting controls in the toolkit, and in Silverlight 4, printing support, webcam and microphone support, right-click support. We've added a whole slew of features that are related to building business applications. Now, in this talk, we'll be looking at the features that we've added to Silverlight 4 that really help complete and round out the data experience and the business application experience when you're building applications with Silverlight. We're going to take a look at building an application with Silverlight 4 in Visual Studio 2010. We'll look at the enhancements that we've done to data binding in Silverlight 4. We've also made some improvements to some data-related controls in Silverlight 4, and we'll take a look at using those. Input validation, which is not a feature that's strictly unique to Silverlight 4. We had validation in Silverlight 3, but it was a bit limited in scope. It was based on exceptions, and we'll talk about why that was limiting and how we can expand it now that we've got Silverlight 4. And then we'll go over how to print a document, which is a very common and very commonly requested feature, for that matter, for Silverlight and business applications. Now, there are lots of other business-related features in Silverlight. I've seen people asking about webcam and microphone support, rich text area, among many others. I won't be going into those in this talk. If you saw the overview talk with Karen a few hours ago, she went a little bit into rich text area, and there's a media talk on Silverlight that will take a look at webcam and microphone support a little deeper. So what do we want to accomplish with this talk? Well, we're going to take a look at the business-related features in Silverlight. We'll explore the interactive design surface in Visual Studio 2010 and actually use it to build out our Silverlight application. And of course, we will build out a rich business application experience using Silverlight 4. In particular, we'll be looking at Silverlight 4 features that have been added in this release. So without further ado, we're going to get going right into our demo. Most of this talk will be centered around a single application, which is an issue tracking application. So if you're familiar with applications like Team Explorer for Visual Studio, where you can track issues, track work items, track bugs, give them a priority and a title and description, things like that, that's the type of application that we'll be building out today. Now, there are some pieces of the application that I've already gone ahead and built so that we can really get to the new features in Silverlight 4. I've built out the data model for the application. For that, I used SQL Express and Link to SQL on the server end. I've also built out the services so that I can go and query the data, update the data. For that, I used RIA services, for which there are a couple of talks on tomorrow. And I won't be going into how all of that works in this talk. For those, you can check out the talks tomorrow by Brad Abrams and Dinesh Kulkarni. And then I've already built out a fair amount of the UI just so that we can jump right into the new features. So let's begin by taking a look at the type of data that we're going to work with in this application. It all starts with the issue in this case. So this is your bug in your database. Issues have an ID. They also have things like a title and priority, anything that you need in order to understand what that bug is about. There are a number of other tables in the database, a table for all of the users that I might be able to assign the bug to, as well as things like platforms, which refers to on what platform the issue reproduces. And the one other thing to notice about this data model is that I've got lots of foreign key relationships, so I'm using an ID to reference some item in another table. So without further ado, let's actually take a look at the application. All right, so here we've got our issue tracker application. There are 5 screens. One's just a home screen, nothing too dissimilar from what you see when you create a new Silverlight project in Visual Studio. I can go and add a new issue to the database, look at any issues that may be assigned to me, take a look at reports about the set of issues in my database, of course, it wouldn't be a Silverlight application if I didn't go and completely change the look of the application using some sort of a theme. In this case, I'm using implicit styles. You saw I used a right-click to get to the themes. I won't be going over how to hook those up today, but wanted to prove to you that we are in a rich application. If you're familiar with this theme, it's from the Expression suite of products. Now, oh no, look at that. I've got a little bug in my application. I think we should actually go right into adding a bug to the database